today I'm sharing 4 ways to copy a sewing pattern. A few reasons you might want to copy a pattern for personal use only, of course, is 1, to preserve it, whether you have a vintage pattern that you don't want to mess up or you just know that it's a pattern you're going to use a lot. Having a copy to use means that you can keep the original intact. The second is modifying patterns, whether it's a fit issue or if you're like me and you do a lot of flat pattern drafting, then you don't want to be cutting up your original pattern to make those changes. So option 1 is the easiest, and that is copying on a printer. This is extremely accurate and transfers all of the markings without any real effort from you. The downside is you do have to have a printer and you're pretty much limited to only things that will fit on it. Option 2 is tracing the pattern using a light pad. So with this, you place your pattern onto the surface and then put the paper on top, turn on your light pad, and just trace all of the lines from your pattern. Now this is fairly easy, and typically the only thing you would have to buy is a light pad, and there are some budget-friendly options out there. Alternatively, you can do the same thing by taping the pattern to a window as long as it's sunny outside. However, I personally find that I can't trace very well that way. And this method still doesn't work very well for overly large patterns, though you might be able to work with something slightly larger than you would with the printer. Option 3 is to trace onto clear plastic. So with this, you just place your plastic on top of your pattern and then trace it using a fine point marker. Here I'm demonstrating on a plastic bag that I cut open, but when I first learned this technique, it was suggested to use a clear shower curtain, which allows you to trace larger pattern pieces, and it is more sturdy than the plastic bag. And the hardest part here is just tracing it out accurately. If your pattern piece is already cut out, then what you can do is just cut the larger shape of the pattern out from the plastic, and then the only thing you have to trace is the markings. And I've saved my favorite method for last. Number 4 is using a sewing pin to poke holes through your pattern and into the paper that you're transferring it to. For this, you need a surface that you can pin into. Usually I do this on the floor because we have carpet, but you could lay out some cardboard or some fleece like I did here. Now lay the paper that you're tracing your pattern onto down first and then put the pattern on top. If there's a straight edge on the pattern, then you can line it up with the straight edge of your paper and hold it in place with a paper clip. Now take a pin and poke it through the pattern incrementally along the edges. Make sure you always poke a hole at the corners, and don't forget to poke holes through any of the other markings like the dots. Then remove your pattern and you should have these little holes in the paper. The last thing you do is go back and connect the dots.